This is deja vu all over again, to say the least. And the context is important, too, because it comes as the tensions in this Gulf region are at a boiling point. Sounds like a cliche, but it's truer than ever. A boiling point. A boiling point stoked in no small part by Donald Trump's administration and his Saudi allies, with one of the most hawkish national security teams led by John Bolton in the White House, amidst a real campaign of anti-Iran vilification, demonization of Iran and Tehran, and a crackdown on them in the form of sanctions in order to force them to reopen talks on that 2015 nuclear deal from which the U.S. has withdrawn. There's your context in a nutshell. What happened today? We don't know what caused these explosions. We do know, you're right, 2 incidents in the span of a little over a calendar month. Last time around, May 12th, you had 4 oil tankers hit in the same area. It was a less serious incident in the sense that, first of all, an inquiry led by the United Arab Emirates, they found that there were state-like actors involved in those previous attacks against tankers. They did not specifically name Iran, although John Bolton, the man I just mentioned earlier, the national security advisor to Donald Trump, said that Iran was almost certainly involved. Fast forward to today's incidents. More serious in the fact that this time around there were actually fires on board the 2 ships. One was Norwegian-owned, one was a Japanese-owned tanker. There were fires aboard them. We have had evacuations from both ships, with the U.S. Navy vessels assisting in those evacuations, but definitely raising the sense of alarm in this region. So like I said, while we don't know the causes, while we can't pinpoint or assign any blame right now, there will be a lot of finger pointing in the next few days. And they're still trying to figure out what happened, especially with one of the tankers. It was suspected torpedo attack. Was it perhaps a mine attack? They just don't know. But it all points to that tension and that volatility in the region.
So no finger pointing, but who could be behind the explosions?
Who could be? Any range of people. Yeah, could it be Iran? Could it be Iran's surrogates? Could it be some sort of sabotage, some other non-state actor that's trying to stoke tensions and make it look like it's Iran? Could it be the Houthi rebels, which are supported by Iran, Houthi rebels, waging a war against a Saudi-led, U.S.-backed coalition in Yemen? There are so many complicating factors in this. It is a rich brew. It is a soup. Almost impossible to figure out, but you could almost make the point that isn't the point. What you basically have is the confusion sort of helps, in a sense, promote the line that somehow Iran is an aggressor in this region. It is the line that has been day in and day out basically hammered away at by the Trump administration, whether we're talking about Trump or John Bolton or Mike Pompeo, his Secretary of State. Iran has been painted as the villain. Saudi Arabia, while it hasn't specifically said Iran is responsible for these acts, it's clearly, with the U.S., trying to promote the image of Iran as a dangerous player in this region, trying to create a lot of mischief. So the investigation does go on. I will say it's taking place in the most volatile region right now possible.
That's the thing. We've been showing a map of the region. Tell us why it's so sensitive.
Strait of Hormuz, which basically is a very narrow waterway, which carries, depending on your estimates, anywhere from 1/5 to 1/3 of the world's crude oil reserves pass through it. You can see it right there. Very narrow. This was one of the strategic sort of flashpoints in the nearly decade-long Iran-Iraq war way back when. And it's remains a strategic flashpoint. Anything that happens to disrupt in any way shipping of crude oil, hundreds of millions of barrels of oil through this strait and the Gulf of Oman right below it, is going to immediately have an impact on world oil prices. And we've seen today, and you could talk later to the business editors about that, we've seen the oil prices shooting up. Crude, Brent oil, going up, $3, $4. It's always one of the immediate reactions. When stuff happens in the Strait of Hormuz, geopolitically tensions rise, oil markets start to worry a lot, investors start to worry, and there's a lot of sort of knock-on effects across markets, across the world.